Hello you guys, it is Hailey and Jigsaw and welcome back to our channel. I got this recently. Y'all already know Saw is my everything, so hence the Billy doll. I'm not super pleased on his quality though, I'm not gonna lie, but that's a video for another day. I just wanted to show you guys him because he's kind of on brand with the video that this is. This is going to be a not horror movies. Let's be real, it's mainly horror movies. But this is going to be movies to watch during quarantine video. Anyways, get out of my shot. Jigsaw, you're stealing the limelight here. Okay, so Adrian actually came up with this idea. He was like, why don't you make a video that's like movies to watch during quarantine? And I was like, you know what? That's a stupendous idea. I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna do maybe like a little series of these videos. Like one for Hulu, like movies to watch during quarantine on Hulu, movies to watch during quarantine on Netflix, etc. Like a little, just different streaming apps and streaming sites. I don't know if I'll do Prime because Prime is kind of weird. Sometimes they take their movies off like in a day. One time I watched a movie I've been wanting to watch for years and I fell asleep. Next day it was gone. So I don't know. Let me know if you guys do want that. I guess you could always buy them on there, but the idea behind this is kind of like, well, you're already paying for this, so like may as well, like you're paying for Netflix, may as well watch some good shit on there. Most of these movies are going to be horror. I'm gonna be honest, that's kind of all I watch. I watch like 3 types of movies: horror movies, Tim Burton movies, Johnny Depp movies. So like, yeah, 3. Obviously more, but that's like my main squeeze. So I apologize if there's like lack of comedy or romance movies. I do like those too, but I'm more specific on what I like. But point is, I thought this would be a great video because if you are like me, you're not working right now. I mentioned that on my last video, but I actually got a call today and they don't know when they're having us come back. And I don't know if a lot of you are in the same boat as well. Either way, people that are working are coming home and social distancing and not being with their friends, so you may as well have something to do. Let me know if you like this video. Also, let me know down below things that I don't mention. Like if there's a movie you're like, what the fuck, Hailey? Why didn't you mention this? Comment below or comment movies you think I should watch. Let's get on to it. I do have my iPad that I'm going to read some of these off of because I have the memory of like, what has bad memory? I was gonna say an elephant. They have a good memory, don't they? I don't know. What? You get what I'm saying. So the first movie on this list is going to be Terrifier. This movie is very divided amongst watchers. It either has people that think it is like the cheesiest, stupidest thing they've ever seen, or horror lovers that are like, wow, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I am on the horror lover side. This movie is one of the best looking, like, it's a clown. His name is Art the Clown, and it's like a slasher movie. And I think he is horrifying looking. I think he is the best looking character we've had since like Valak from The Nun. So if you like slashers, then give this a watch. It is very cheesy. That's actually something that I think gives it a little bit of charm personally. It's a lower budgeted movie, but I think that they did really, really good with what they have. And I feel like they went, like, I don't know, it's kind of gory. Like they went in a really good direction with it. I personally love it. If you don't like cheesy horror flicks whatsoever, then maybe skip this one, but there's a reason it's on the top of this list, so give that a watch. The next one, I think this may be a Netflix original, but don't quote me on it. It is for sure my favorite movie on Netflix though. Like, I don't know what drew me to it. I watch movies to go to sleep. Like I usually watch horror movies and I'm out. Like you can't wake me. And that's what my plan was with this one. I was like, I'm just gonna put this on, crash, and go to bed. For some reason, it kept my attention. I ended up watching it, and it is one of the best movies on Netflix. Like I said, I think it's a Netflix original, so definitely really good for that. This movie is called Before I Wake. I've recommended this movie to so many people, and everyone has loved it. It's almost like, it's like a heartwarming movie, even though it's a horror movie. I thought it was cute. I'm gonna be honest. It's cute, but it's still horror. It's about this little boy and basically whatever he dreams happens. So if he has nightmares, they happen. But it was really sad. It was really cute. I normally don't like movies like about kids or anything. Like I'm not like, oh, you know, I'm not one of those people, but this was adorable. Really, really liked it and I recommend it to anyone. It's very underrated. Most people haven't even heard of it. So give it a watch, please, please, please. The next movie, most people have seen, but if you have not, the first Insidious is on Netflix, so give that a watch. People either love or hate Insidious. That's just, you know, I love Insidious. I love this Insidious franchise besides the last one. So if for some reason you're living under a rock, go watch it. It's on there. The next 2 movies are also somewhat popular. Sinister 1 and 2 are on Netflix right now. I like these movies. I enjoy them. I think more than anything, I like the concept of them. The movies are about the boogeyman, and he basically makes children kill their families, and I think that's really, really morbid and dark, and I love that. Like, I think that's really cool. And it has some really awesome, like, death scenes that are really, really creepy. In general, I think that his name is Bagul, who is like the boogeyman. I think he's pretty creepy. I like these movies. I think they could have been done a little bit better, so I'm not going to be like, oh, they're the best things ever, but watch them. They're definitely worth the watch. And a lot of people do like them, so I'm already forgetting other movies on the list, so I'm going to refer to my iPad for now. If I can open it. Okay. All right, so this movie is actually pretty disturbing, and it's kind of messed up. If you like kind of shocking horror movies, then definitely give this a watch. I had heard, to a degree, I mean, honestly, this movie's pretty underrated. I feel like when it came out, everyone was talking about it, and now I barely hear anything about it, but the people who have talked about it have been like, oh, you have to watch it. This movie is called The Green Inferno. It is like these people go to, I don't know if it was an island, I haven't seen it for a while, but they go somewhere and there's like these really weird people that live there. It's very, very gory, very disturbing. There was points where I was like yeah, I got grossed out, which is kind of hard to do for me during movies, or even just to make me like, so I praise this movie for that. It was pretty good. But if you also are very like, not queasy, but I don't know, if you don't like super like grotesque movies, don't watch this because you won't like it. In fact, I just realized I don't think anyone I know has seen this movie besides one of my clients from work brought it up and was like, that movie was so fucked up, which, yeah, it is. Okay, so this movie is, again, one of the best movies on Netflix in my opinion, and I think it's in a weird place because it is either, like, people have seen it and love it, or people have never heard of it. So, this movie is called Hush. My dad actually loves this movie, and my dad is kind of weird on horror movies. Like, a lot of them, he's like, it's so cheesy. This is a slasher movie. Again, slashers are my favorite, so, good slashers are my favorite. This is about a woman who is deaf, and this man breaks into her house. And so I like this movie because you're playing with a whole new deck of cards that horror movies like haven't done. At least I don't know of any that have gone there. It was just, it gave you something like different to play with, you know, like a different scenario. And the girl in it was really cool. She was a badass, number one. Number two, I feel like a lot of times they make girls really ditzy and stupid in horror movies, and this girl was smart. She was cool. She wasn't annoying. So that was definite perks for it too. But again, you're just seeing something from a whole new angle. Really, really thought this movie was well done. This movie is a smaller movie. This is called Would You Rather. It's a horror movie where you play Would You Rather. So what do you think is going to happen? I thought the storyline was pretty alright, and there was some good scenes in this. Definitely worth watching. This movie, a lot of people have not seen, at least that I know. People have seen like the original, or people online talked about it. I actually really like this remake. This is the Amityville Horror remake, the one with Ryan Reynolds. I own this on DVD and I've watched it a million times. Really, really like it. Go watch it. And this movie is a classic, so if you have not seen it yet, go watch it. The original Evil Dead is on Netflix. I'm not gonna lie, it took me way too long to watch this movie. I think I watched it for the first time like 3 years ago. So if you're like me and just never got around to it, then give that a watch. This one is a Stephen King movie. Well, it's not a Stephen King movie, but it was a Stephen King book, and it's made into a movie, and I thought this was one of his better ones. I'm not gonna lie, I think a lot of people really, really, like horror lovers especially, are like, oh, Stephen King is the GOAT, like he is just, you know, the greatest. I think his stuff is like really hit or miss, I'm gonna be honest. Like I really like The Shining, and I look stupid right now because I'm like, I like Pet Sematary, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't think it's the best. Like, it's very, very cheesy. But point is, I'm not super like biased about Stephen King movies or Stephen King books and being like, oh, it's gonna be great. And I thought this one was really good. This is called Gerald's Game. I believe this is a Netflix original as well. It's about this woman that basically goes to a cabin like in the middle of nowhere with her husband to, like, I don't know, I think experiment with their sex life, kind of revive their marriage, and he handcuffs her to a bed, and then he has a heart attack, and she's stuck in the middle of nowhere. And so she's dealing with like some internal demons, and there's like something in her room, and just, it was a good movie. I really liked it. And this one is kind of the last horror thriller one on this list. I do have a couple that aren't, surprisingly. This one is called The Roommate. This movie came out, I want to say when I was like in middle school. I remember going to the theater and seeing it with my mom, and I saw it was on Netflix and immediately was like, I haven't seen this movie since I was a kid. I'm gonna watch it. Also, it has Leighton from Gossip Girl on it, and I have been addicted to Gossip Girl recently. I actually have been doing that during my quarantine, and now that I finished it, I'm dead inside. So I remembered her being on it, and I really like Leighton as an actress, and so I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch this. It's not like, oh, an amazing, mind-blowing movie, but it's good. It's something fun to watch. And the next movies on this list are non-horror movies. So this one, actually, if you like Motley Crue, you've already seen this movie. If you haven't liked Motley Crue or don't like Motley Crue, then you probably have still seen this movie because it was a very big, successful movie. The Dirt. And I'm not a Motley Crue fan. I do like them a lot more than I used to now, but when I was a kid, I thought Motley Crue sucked. I don't know why. I was just never into them. My dad liked them, and I was like, and he put on the movie for me. I didn't really have a super big interest in watching it. I think the only reason I was even like, all right, fine, I'll watch it, is because my best friend loves Motley Crue more than anything, and she swears it was a good movie, so I was like, all right. And this movie was super good, super sad. I actually started liking Motley Crue a lot more after the movie, and it was just great. Also, the guy, what was his name? His name's Douglas Booth. The one who plays Nikki Sixx is like the hottest man I've ever seen. Okay, not ever seen, but he was really, really hot. Like, I think he's like a lot more attractive than the actual Nikki Sixx, which is kind of funny. But so watching that, I was like, ooh, he's a handsome man. So it has that in it. Also, just a really good storyline. It's a great movie, so watch it if you have not. The next movie is a Quentin Tarantino movie. A lot of you like Quentin Tarantino movies. I like Quentin Tarantino movies. I'm a basic bitch, and Kill Bill and Pulp Fiction are some of my favorite movies of all time. So do with that what you will. When it comes to my movie taste, I know that everyone's like, oh, people that, you know, that's so overrated, but some of my favorite movies, and this is one of my favorite Quentin Tarantino movies. This is Inglourious Basterds. So it has Brad Pitt, and it's about Nazis, and he's badass in it. So if you have not seen it for whatever reason, I know there's people out here who have, like, they like Quentin Tarantino, but they've only seen, like, Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill. So watch this if you're one of those people. It's really, really good. And I also just realized I've never seen Reservoir Dogs. Isn't that like a sin or something? I've seen like almost all of his other movies except that one. Anyways, and the last two movies on this list are Johnny Depp movies. So again, I guess I didn't branch out too much here. This first movie is called Blow. It is about a coke dealer, and Johnny Depp plays him, and it's actually a true story from what I've heard. The main character, Johnny Depp, actually like went and like, I think like not interviewed, but he like spent time with him trying to like kind of get into his role for him. And it's a really good movie. It's pretty sad, and Johnny Depp was just amazing in it. So if you've not seen that, give it a watch. And the last movie is What's Eating Gilbert, Grape. This movie's so weird to me because I feel like people in my dad's age group, like in their 40s and like 30s and stuff, have like all seen this movie and heard of it, and for some reason people in my age group have never even heard of it. So this has Johnny Depp and Leonardo DiCaprio. I feel like I said Leonardo weird. I was like tripping on my tongue there. Leonardo DiCaprio. Johnny Depp has a mentally challenged brother, Leonardo, and they just have like some misfortunes in their family, and it's a pretty depressing movie, I'm not gonna lie. For some reason, for me, it's one of my comfort films. Like, if I'm having a bad day, I'm down to watch Gilbert, Grape. It's a good movie. I want to say it's heartwarming, but it's like, it's pretty sad. I don't know. And that is it for this list. I know that there's some bigger horror movies on Netflix that I didn't mention, like bigger horror movies that just everyone has seen to the point where it's like, I'm not even gonna mention them. But like I said, let me know if I did miss something, and also let me know if you like this idea for the Hulu one. And I also got Shudder recently, so I could do a Shudder version of this as well. But let me know other stuff you want to see on this channel as always, and I will be in the comments below replying to you guys. And have a good rest of your day. I'm like getting thirsty, so I feel like I'm sounding weird. But have a good rest of your day. Stay safe out there, and yeah. See you on the next one. Hello. 5 minutes in the future, Hailey. I completely forgot to mention a movie, so I know I already said bye, but I'm just going to tack this onto the end of the video. Anyways, this is one of the best movies that came out last year in my opinion, so I kind of have to mention it. Let me refer to my iPad because I always tongue tie the title and say it wrong. Extremely wicked, shockingly evil, and vile. So this movie was super controversial. The trailer dropped for it and everyone was mad. I was mad. I thought it was super, super distasteful, if I'm being honest. It's the Ted Bundy movie, so that gives you an idea why I'm saying this. So when the trailer dropped, it had this super rom-com type of music, and it made it look like it was painting Ted Bundy in a different light. Like, I have a hair in my mouth. In a good way. And it just seemed like it was going to be some, like, romance with Ted Bundy, and it has Zac Efron in it, and people were just... I thought it was super distasteful, really tacky, and insensitive. But, of course, I was like, I'm going to watch it. It looks horrible, but of course, I'm going to see. And I'm super glad I did, because I think that whoever made the trailer, like their team or whatever that did that, needs to be fired, or like not make future trailers. They did a really, really bad job representing the movie properly. It looked like something else than it really was. So one of my like praises for the movie was actually that it was super like, it wasn't distasteful whatsoever. I think they did it in a very tasteful manner. It didn't like degrade any of like, I don't know, it didn't really have specific victims in it, which I think was super, like, that would have been really, really, like, no, it's a bad idea. And it doesn't paint him in this good light that I thought that they were doing. It just truly represents kind of like what people thought of him. It was a really sad movie. It was a really great movie. Zac Efron was actually super great in it. I had my doubts about him playing Ted Bundy, but he did an amazing job. Most people that have seen this also agree that, yeah, it's nothing like the trailer makes it look like, because I was even just like, why would they do that? Why would they think that's a good idea? It felt very exploitive, and it wasn't. So, give this a watch, especially if you're like a true crime lover or anything. I'm super into that, and super into like serial killer documentaries and stuff. So this was right up my alley, actually. The one thing I also thought the movie was doing was just catering to those, like, we all know those weird girls and just people in general that like fetishize serial killers, and that's kind of what this looked like it was doing. And I was like, no, don't give them ammo, do not do it. But it didn't. So because that's just super gross, those people that, I don't know, that think that's like a cute personality trait. It's not. It's gross. It's like no. But anyways, so that is the last movie, and I would kind of consider that like horror-ish, more like true crime horror, whatever. But that is it. I'm going to say goodbye again, so farewell, have a nice day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!